Okay, give me a second, you guys. I'm gonna send the link to a few people. Oh wait, no, it already finished. Okay. Okay, cool.
Oh, wow.
Cool. Okay. So we're gonna be talking about a lot today. Give me 1 second. I'm going to check and make sure the live is up. Okay, cool. Let me make sure the volume's good and everything. A lot today. Give me 1 second. I'm going to check and make sure the. That's. Thank you on that, Tenebris. The goat has been summoned once again. What's up, Tenebris? Tenebris via Lucis. What's up, fam? Okay, so we're going all in on part 2 today. Make sure the volume's good and everything. Okay, cool. So, feel free to ask questions, you guys. I'm gonna have. Wait, is there like an echo? Give me. Okay. So, in a sense, this is my path on the Cliff-Off. We're continuing from earlier. Okay, for me, like, I just went to the gym. I was just training MMA. Just hit the sauna. I recommend that you guys hit the sauna when you're able to. Hit the gym whenever you're able to. We were talking about the first few spheres earlier within the Cliff-Off, right? But we're not just going to be talking about the Cliff-Off or the Hell Realms. But I want to talk about Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin, a lot of people don't understand this concept, right? Or a lot of people wish to understand the spiritual significance of why, like, cryptocurrency matters, right? So, in a lot of ways, when you think about money, right? Money is a form of monetary value. We can use money in order to purchase things because we've changed trading and bartering, right? Because when you originally think about it, we had to trade things in order to achieve things or in order to acquire something, right? So it's in the same way that, oh my gosh, through this journey of working with different spirits, whether it be Shaitan, whether it be Azazel, whether it be Satan, doesn't really matter the energy's name, right? A lot of these spirits brought me into entrepreneurship, and I really didn't get why they were bringing me into these, you could say, these higher forms of wealth, right? Which completely shifted my mindset when it comes to life. Also, I didn't know Mammon was a demonic prince. Like, wow, this dude, he's so wise for his time, right? I think you've asked that a lot, Tenebris. I actually have no idea about that. Okay, let's scale our way up to that, because maybe, like, Tenebris, where do you feel that you reside within the Cliffoth? You know, you ask, what is the transcliffothic... Oh, transcliffothic labyrinth. Okay, this is a new one. But the thing is, within yourself, what do you feel that you need to know within yourself that might be limiting your perception of understanding that labyrinth, right? But I want to say the Cliffothic labyrinth, when that comes to my mind, there's many times where Greek divinities told me that life is like a labyrinth. Like, they literally used that word labyrinth, and they used maze, right? There's even a movie called, I believe it's called Pam's Labyrinth, and that has a lot of symbolism to it, pertaining to the underworld, pertaining to the occult, right? So your mind is a labyrinth. Your mind is a maze. And the more that you start to put together the pieces of the puzzle and understand your mind, and you start to organize your mind, it's no longer a maze. It's no longer a labyrinth, right? So it's in the same way that actually, by understanding the Cliffothic labyrinth, or understanding those inner planes of yourself, you start to piece together and puzzle, and you start to piece together your life, and you put together the puzzle of these things that you didn't really think that you could perceive. You started to perceive. You started to understand. So really ask yourself, why do you have no idea of that? Maybe there's something limiting you from that. Usually when it comes to understanding, like, what is behind your question, in a sense, that's what I'd ask yourself, and then start to see what your own daemon or your own inner, start to see what's conveyed, right? Because life is a journey. I can tell you something, right? But it's different for you to perceive the journey and to perceive what you're going through. So, if you feel that you are powerful enough to go into the dark, into the nothingness, and embrace that, and not mind what you see, what do you see, Tenebris? What do you see within the labyrinth? What is it to you? I think that matters. I think that that's what matters the most, but actually most importantly what matters is knowing thyself. The more that you know yourself, the more of what's meant for you is unveiled. I want to say sometimes we take these side quests and we go, and maybe this might be your soul calling you there, but I feel like we take these side quests and we just go wherever, when maybe if we just always followed the source of what we are and went within, we would always be in alignment with the knowing that we needed in the moments that it was meant to come to show us where to go. So if understanding this is the most important thing to you at the moment, try to see why and try to actualize it within yourself in some form of knowing when you do this, you know? But yeah, that would be after, or the Clifothic Labyrinth is just the maze of the mind. So earlier we pretty much left off on vampirism, right? And I want to say it's through the use or the ability of vampirism. This is when I first started to understand the ability to copy or mimic archetypes and as well other frequencies. So say if you wish to, whether it be something spiritual or whether it be something that is physical, right? Whatever you wish to acquire, by truly imagining as if you already have it, such as whether it be, money, whether it be, say, Bitcoin or currencies of this nature, whether it be, when I watch anime gave me a lot of imaginations, right? It expanded my mind in a way that I was able to feel as if life was more magical because I was imagining life to be more magical. As a magician, it's about using your imagination in order to create your reality. And it's not always about projecting, but the more that I've really understood the path, it's more about being receptive to the path. Like, in a similar way, just as I was talking about currency earlier, because I want to tie these things in, I want to really ground wealth and things of that nature, or like the understanding and perception. Money is a piece of paper that was created in order, it's a tool, yes, but in order for a lot of forms of manipulation. So as I ascended the Clifothic tree, and it didn't even take me going through the underworld, right? It didn't even take me going through the hell realms to understand this. But cryptocurrency is something that, so it takes, I don't know how many satoshis, but it takes a certain amount of satoshis, which the word satoshi means enlightened one, right? It takes a certain amount of satoshis to create a Bitcoin, for anyone that understands cryptocurrency. So when I heard this, my mind started to understand that cryptocurrency has something to do with enlightenment. The reason why it's decentralized is because the bank's money was created, right? And then at some point, yes, it was backed by something. It was backed by gold, right? But then at some point, they bought all the gold, or there almost is no gold. You can buy gold. I recommend investing in gold. In a sense, there was no gold to the point that the dollar is merely a banknote. They're just printing it. It's deregulated. It's centralized. If you're working for $15 an hour and there's someone printing endless money, every time someone goes to school, right? They spend, I don't know, if we're talking about like a university, right? They spend $60,000. For every dollar that they spend, I believe the interest is $1.25 or something like that. So they're actually printing money off of telling you to go to school. Cool. So it's where by learning, by self-studying and learning these things, like what is money? What is cryptocurrency? What is entrepreneurship? What is commerce? What is e-commerce? What is wealth? What is prosperity? What is manifestation? What is it to create your reality? These are all the things that you should, not all these things, but you put whatever, you know, in template, whatever you go by, whatever you're focusing on, let it at least be something of health, wealth, and prosperity, right? So do something for your body, do something for your mind, and then do something for your, you could say your pocket, right? You could say, yeah, there's many things that honestly you could say on that. But let's see who's here. One second, you guys. Oh, that's what's up. Um, oh hey Emerita, what's up, fam? Hey. Um, Super G, what's up, fam? What's up, bro? Was just thinking of you, then see you live telepathy on 100 tonight. Oh, that's my boy. Yo, so we're gonna be getting in, or we're already like getting into it. This is these things that I'm talking about cryptocurrency are actually things that I don't even think I could have realized until after the cliff off, right? Also, welcome everyone that's joining, stuff like that. So, the more that I started, because guys, oh my god, let's talk about, okay, before we go any further, let's talk about, oh my god, the darkest parts of my journey and a few Dark Night of the Souls into I guess my liberation spiritually, cuz I remember way back when, even, and I'm literally getting glimpses right now of that journey when, okay, so for myself in this death and rebirth phase of my reality, I'm someone that I used to use a lot of like substances and stuff like that. We're talking about like maybe age 17, no, 18 to like 22 is when I heavily was using like, I was using like ecstasy, like coke, like I was like, now I use nothing. Like I'll smoke weed here and there. I'll smoke cigars for ritual. I don't even really fucking care about cigars. It's more for like the dopamine, the testosterone. It's more as a tool. But yeah, these were moments in my life where it's like, yo, I probably in some way, we escape. We hate ourselves. I might say I didn't hate myself, but the way that you treat yourself, like bro, if you're fucking snorting a white powder up you, like you hate yourself in some way. Like, why are you doing this? You know what I mean? And for anybody that's been through that, anybody that still does that, like, it's an illusion. Like, you can feel good without it. Like, you can meditate. Next time you feel the need to do something as an impulse, just sit there. Sit, and maybe it's like, actually process and feel what you're going through in that moment. Say if, like, you're someone that does use a substance, or you need to use a substance, or even if it's just, like, coffee. Like, you drink a lot of coffee, right? Everybody's life is on their own level of difficulty. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, it's been, oh my god, expert mode all the way. When I play video games, every time, expert mode. I don't even know how to play Guitar Hero. Crank it up to expert, I just keep throwing myself at it till I get good. And I've noticed that I even treat lives like that, because, I mean, oh my god, like, okay, guys, reincarnation. When you are going through the Cliffothic tip number 75, you guys. When you're going through the Cliffoth, know that it's stripping you of all, not just this life's illusions, but all illusions to your core truths. So you will actually start to see your past lives, right? It isn't until we go into the underworld do we actually see the past lives in which we had for ourselves. So, like this, like truly, this is why people don't talk about it that much, because you have to unlock it, or you have to awaken it in some way to bring it about. So I know for myself, and I want to say shout out to Blair, because Blair showed me, he told me the word cellular memory, and that kind of unlocked a lot for me. I believe he's been live streaming lately, so go check his content out. Just shouting out the homie, like throwing him out there. Cellular memory, and then he told me an expansion on telomeres, right? Your mind, your brain, like, and then I told him something to do about dark matter, and how when you start to fill your brain with dark matter, you become hyper intelligent. You become a quantum computer, pretty much, because you're not just awakening the conscious mind that's like, oh, I'm in a box. Like, why do I feel like I can't learn things? It's like, and then you break that box, right? You literally shatter the box, and then you realize that you are everything and the all. And once you realize that you are everything and the all, that you are a limitless creator being, you are limitless in nature, right? So and that's also, you could say, that's actually the verging point between, like, let's go with like 0 and 99% enlightenment. And I'm using a percentage variable, right? Don't get like stuck at the, he said enlightenment, you can't become enlightened. But let's say the 0 to 99 is that I'm in a box, like the ego, like you're getting out of the box, but you're filling that box with more logical concepts of, I'm trying to grasp at enlightenment, when enlightenment's not a physical process. It's literally going through the nothingness realm. It's going through the dark matter, being stripped of all light illusion to realize yourself past everything. So it's not like, it's like literally, okay, what's coming to my mind, it's like, I remember one time when I took shrooms, this was the first time I took shrooms, psychedelics. I had moments like this in meditation, but not as like, you don't realize it until you have a huge shattering experience that like completely dissolves all of your reality. But yeah, so on shrooms or on psychedelics in a sense, I remember it was like a moment where I was about to like enter into this cosmic bridge, and it's like there's okay, so people live in houses, right? And it's like I was in a house, but I remember it's like all of that, I was on a cosmic bridge, all of that didn't exist, and I felt like the ever expansion of eternity around me. And then it was kind of like that, like, in all honesty, like that, oh God, like I really need my mom, like adult, what what is this, right? And then but it's in that moment that it's like I was searching for a matrix variable to quantify what I was going through, because my ego was like, whoa, dude, like, what the fuck is this shit, right? But I was in the full experience of it, so I was choosing to experience it, and then my ego was trying to grasp to whatever it could. But it's in those moments that at some point you get shown so much that it links the variables, right? You get shown so much that it breaks the box, but you're prepared for the box or the ego to be broken, and then you understand that you're everything in the all through going through the nothingness, and then you kind of just come back at the end of the journey like, like, oh, I am everything, right? Like the hero's journey, like, oh, I was the hero the whole time. Joke's on you. I was the hero, like, right? You were the hero the whole time. That's the cosmic joke. It's like you don't think that you're enlightened to the point that you get to the end of the journey, and then at some point you just wake up, right? And I want that to at least be just like, an archetype, just to express the journey of spiritual awakening / going through the underworld, right? And that's why I also think that enlightenment ties into Bitcoin. So for myself, I went through what's known as dark enlightenment or apotheosis, deification. So enlightenment is when you're just stuck at Kether and you're just pulling down the Kether energy, and you're expressing Kether as the being that you are, right? That's kind of like a monk meditating all day long, right? Of course they are source. They're always connecting to the source. They don't choose to knock themselves out of meditation. They're enlightened. They're expressing all this cosmic blissful kundalini energy, and they have all these disciples, and it's like, cool, they're enlightened. It's like, and so there's a next step where then you can go into the underworld, where you're choosing to strip away all that blissful energy to then go through the underworld realms to then take on these forms of dark enlightenment, which when you look at apotheosis, it's just like, okay, if no one understands we're living in a simulation, a video game, right? You're a character that needs to boost your fucking stats. You need to boost your stats, right? And then other people are like, boost stats, what are you saying? Like, 9 to 5 slave job. It's like, oh, wow, you don't know? It's like, what are you saying? 9 to 5 slave job. It's like, oh, okay. So it's like, not everybody is aware that they can boost their stats. So this puts you at a certain percentage or percentile of individuals. So you could even consider yourself a form of elite based off the knowledge that you know, if you realize that life is a simulation. They don't teach this until third year quantum physics, and they also wouldn't teach it as plainly put as that. You live, in a sense, your soul at one point. If you guys, like, wait, let me see who's here. Yeah, what's up, the real incredible magician? What's up, fam? Raquel, the occult TV, and the chat. Amaritza, good night, y'all. I'm feeling sleepy. Hey, good night, Amaritza. Um, have a good night. Um, then Super G says substances to me are ultimate tools of time travel and teleportation. Your mind is physically reformed and forcedly opened, making it easy to hypnotize the self. The ritualization of it is important. Most definitely. Every time I had a really good experience that taught, well, it might have been like, a shock to my psyche, but it always taught me a lot of wisdom. Was every time that I always imagined the gate from Full Metal Alchemist, the gate of life and death, and then connecting to my higher self. And then every time I did that, I don't always remember the trips fully, but I always gained insight and downloads that I chose to integrate and even take months to integrate. So most definitely you are correct on, they are ultimate tools of time travel. I like that you said time travel. And also through remote viewing, you guys, you can time travel in this way in the same sense. When you just lay down, right? Just lay down, close your eyes, imagine yourself. Like, I don't just mean imagine with your like visualizing something. I mean to feel, like imagine and feel as if you could say the astrals, but transcending the astrals, and then literally remote view and go back in time, or go forward in time. And although these aren't solid events, your mind is able to perceive it, because when you're tapped into the subconscious mind, your mind is a quantum computer. Your mind is a supercomputer, right? So it's in that same sense, um, that you can tap into these subconscious or occult abilities, and then use these abilities to, push yourself forward. If you can remote view, then that means that you can also create or place instances forward in time. So you can almost like, I guess this is considered like, this is kind of more advanced psychic stuff, but like creating pockets, like time, creating warp pockets or time pockets, And by like advanced psychic, I mean just like knowing you can manipulate reality. And then like placing them forward in time. So imagining things forward in time, you gifting yourself things from the future aspect of yourself. Like you handing yourself something from the future at a later date, and then meet you catching up to that day, and then as a ritual, right? If you do a ritual for 30 days, that's powerful. So as you meet up to that day, then an expansion of energy in some way would be created or formed, like such as if you have a goal, right? Seeing that future self already fulfilling the goal, and then pulling in that timeline or that vibration, that frequency, you're actually now downloading that frequency. This is the same thing with this is the same thing with you could say vampirism and using it to copy archetypes, right? Um, and in that same way, actually, wait one second. Okay, so the reason I'm gonna go back to what I was saying earlier. The reason why I was also talking about substances, so for me in the past, I actually realized that, like, just like Super G was saying, you're able to time travel, right? I assume he's probably talking about, I don't know what he's done for him, but I assume he's talking about, like, let's go with psychedelics, right? I noticed that on darker substances or man-made substances, like the reason why they call it tweaking is because you are literally tweaking your brain. I started to notice, and even I found out like surgeons, there's like neurosurgeons that will do meth, and they do small amounts here and there. I am not endorsing any usage of anything, you guys. But they'd use it here and there and in an intelligent way. And this is actually where the elite are like, I'm not saying all of them, but there's like a lot of them that will use these substances, these darker substances, to hack their brain and like get somewhere a lot faster. And the only downfall at the end of the day to that is that you have to cope with the withdrawals after you do what you do. So actually, let's even look at Juice WRLD, right? Juice WRLD was a rapper that was always taking pills. He was always drinking lean. He was always talking about these self-detrimental things, right? So it's in that same sense that because he was always altered, because he was always, I don't think he tweaked, but because he was always tweaked, he was actually seeing in between realms, right? So for myself, when I was doing those things, I was seeing in between realms as well. And I'm a rapper, and I started rapping as a poet, not as like this typical like I'm a rapper, drugs, gangs and guns, but like whereas I can see like even myself, I fell into like drug usage, probably just more of the culture I associated myself with. If I would, and that's why I also had to stray away from those things, right? And that's where I was someone that meditated heavily, sent me into a dark night of the soul. And then as I was in the dark night of the soul, that's also when, the darker spirits, they come to you when you're at your low because you're expressing immense emotion, right? So the dark nights of the soul for myself, I mean, that's already, I have no serotonin, I have no dopamine. And then on top of that, using substances, that did not help me out. What tricks people in the beginning, most drugs being a cruel mistress, is yes, exactly, you do it once and it feels so amazing that you then go back to doing it again and again and again and again, and then the 30th day you're like, why does this not work, right? And it's in the same thing that imagine if you imagine if you picked up breath work and then 30 days later you manifested a car, you manifested a better life, you feel more clear, right? Do you know what I mean? Like truly at the end of the day you don't need anything. And that's what I really try to emphasize with people is as much as you think that this substance is giving you power, like guys, truly like on coke, on ecstasy, I noticed how much I could manipulate reality. I'll be honest, like I'll give you guys, this is funny. I'll give you a little like does anybody know the rapper Denzel Curry? Right? So does anyone know the rap? I'll tell you one of my experiences because this was funny as fuck, you guys. Um, okay, so when I was at a Denzel Curry concert, oh my god, this is like I feel like this is meant for like other types of channels. But when I was at a Denzel Curry concert, I took a substance known as MDA, not MDMA. MDMA is more of like a feel good like serotonin boost, like serotonin kind of chemical. MDA is like that, but it makes you trip, right? So I went to the Denzel Curry concert and then I just did a little bit of it and then I noticed that I was actually pulling in all of the energy as I was at this concert and then to the point that Denzel Curry, which is a celebrity, even said like, "Yo, where's all the energy at? Like, yo, you guys are giving me no energy." Myself just partying and chilling, not realizing that yes, as an occultist, when you use these substances, you will start to alter not just your reality, but all around you. It was in a very similar way that I remember my grandfather literally walked in one time and I was doing shrooms, and the thing is, he knew nothing about shrooms. He knew nothing about psychedelics. You guys, like this makes no fucking sense. This is where I know the Matrix sometimes will like tweak out. And for myself, I'm a grounded individual, right? I check myself when I'm like, oh, am I in La La Land? And then there's so many times where it's like, okay, so I took the shrooms and this is how you know it affects not just you, but everything in the all on a molecular slash cellular level because you're awakening your DNA. So not just you are feeling it, but the collective is feeling it. Everybody around you is feeling it. So it's like literally, it was to the point that like I was vibrating so high that um my father came into the room for a second and he said, "You better not be doing psychedelics, right? You better not be doing shrooms." I'll be real with you guys. He did not know that I was doing that stuff. He knew nothing about that. So it makes no sense that he said that to me. That was like a Matrix NPC glitch. Like I literally saw the Matrix glitch. It's like the psychedelics was altering my DNA to the point that it was awakening a lot of things around me, right? Where the Matrix even then came in to alter my perception and put me into fear mode, right? But the thing is, I knew that I didn't need to be in fear mode, right? It was about pulling myself out of the Matrix. So took deep breaths, just went back into it. At the end of the trip, once I dissolved all of that, you could say karma, my dad actually walked into the room and out of all things, like after, like literally right after the trip, he hands me a book. He's like, "Oh, hey," because he used to call he used to call me Yogi, right guys, like he used to call me Yogi. That was my nickname, right? And he hands me the book I ordered on Amazon, and it was the Hermetica, right? So during this trip, I entered into a cosmic bridge with Lord Thoth, right? And as I was communing with Lord Thoth, um, like I can't describe this bridge, but it's like there's like, okay, so it's a triangle in the background. There's like this warp gate thing that goes into the bridge. Wow, the more that I like cognizantly recall it, I can actually start to see it. Um, but yeah, so it's in these moments that we are truly understanding our hold over reality, our influence over reality. And the more that you do these things, you start to understand, like truly understand the influence that you have just based off your own perception. If you believe something is possible, you are able to manifest something, you're able to do something. By all means, what is limiting you? And I was talking about that earlier in the first part of this. So let's look at the chat. I walk around cities drawing vampiric astral portals everywhere, increasing my powers, and oddly also healing the community around them, sucking in the dark and light matter for my own benefits, of course. Super G, yeah. If you say that it heals people around you, then that actually means that you're pulling in the chaos, and yourself as I assume, a source vampire, you're transmuting the chaos to give back to them, but you're taking in something that's, when I think about it, when I look back in the journey, chaos was always more powerful than source in the 3D matrix, because most people don't know themselves as source, right? So they're very chaotic in nature. So when you can transmute chaos and then use it to your benefit, it's a very powerful tool within specifically this 3D matrix. But when you're going outside of the, say, the matrix and the astrals into whatever you consider beyond the astrals, I don't think words really matter. That's when chaos is less beneficial, and that's where it's like you could say source vampirism matters more. Where you'll even get to the point where it's like Bleach. In Bleach, Grimmjow was a hollow, so he was a demon, but then he started to consume so much energy, or souls, but so much energy that eventually he became what are they called, like a Vastalordes or something? He became like a person, and he went from being a tiger, I think a tiger or a jaguar, Grimmjow, so jaguar, into a human through evolving based off the consumption of energy. That's also how I view this realm. It's like, as much as people, this realm works based off the consumption of energy. That's why when a user understands himself to be a psychic vampire or vampiric in nature, that just means they can pull in energy, or they realize that they can pull in energy. So the more that you realize that you can take from the surrounding energy around you, whether it be from thin air, nothing, / void space, ether, the 0 point, it's really just pulling that energy and then creating archetypes from that infinite energy. And then you can also just pull from archetypes, aka vampirism. You can also just pull from archetypes. Like a person is an archetype. All it is just a template for an archetype, right? So you can pull from, like, let's go with MMA. There's an MMA legend, Adesanya, right? If you start to watch Adesanya's MMA videos and you start to vamp him, right, you can start to take his moves and then understand them for yourself. You can either call it vampirism or just evolving through learning, right? You read a book and then you apply the knowledge that you learned. Vampirism, right? A lot of people don't really consider these things. And sorry if you guys see me like squinting. There's a really bright light, but I'm trying to get used to it. But a lot of these things that we perceive as like darker sciences, why is it darker? It's darker because it's powerful. To know that you can take energy from people, that's fucking immense. That's next level. Now, to know that you can transmute other people's chaos, like their wounds, whether it be subconscious or physical, you can heal them even more powerfully. Because for myself, like, I got into the Qliphoth as a psychic healer, as a psychic surgeon, right? So when I started to adapt psychic vampirism, yeah, I did have to go through the intense psychic vampirism, like reformation of my mindset, right? Because when you do embrace psychic vampirism, you're shifting your psyche in a lot of different ways, right? So as you're shifting your psyche, I started to understand that Reiki healing was fucking, like, not just Reiki, right? But to just use light energy was bullshit. It's fucking stupid. Like, there's someone paying someone that just uses light energy hundreds of dollars to almost do nothing, to just feed parasites light energy. Until you remove those parasites with the dark matter, until you remove these lower vibrations and you start to heal yourself with the dark matter, it's the dark matter that dissolves all of the parasites, all the illusions and things of this nature. So people that don't choose to take on vampirism, especially in the healing arts, are limiting themselves, right? So embrace vampirism and use that to empower yourself and to heal yourself and others, just like as well what Super G was talking about, right? He gave a really good example for anyone that wants to look at it and stuff. Okay, so Raquel, so you can vampirism off the energy. Okay, I believe you asked this question earlier, and I don't think we got to answer it. So thank you for being here, Raquel. Um, Thank you for asking that question. So we'll get into that in just a second. Okay, wait. Super G asked a question. Yeah, okay. So is that the question that Super G asked? But we'll go into Raquel's and then we'll talk about what Super G's talking about. So you can vampirism off the energy of people who has harmed you. Also, can that energy transmuted into heal their victims once drawn? Wait, transmuted into heal their victims. Wait. Also, can that energy transmuted into heal their victims once drawn from, and if so, how? Okay, maybe that answered my question through. Oh, okay, through what Super G said. Okay, so but yeah, just to, like, I guess add on to what you said, Raquel. Yeah, so as we are kind of talking about a minute ago, yeah, you can transmute it into healing energy. If you're talking about yourself being the victim, like, I think that you worded it in that way, like where you kind of look at yourself as a victim. You have to reprogram the mindset if you're going to be a vampire or steal people's energies. Okay, so the way that you know that you're facing a stronger vampire, like one that is actually trying to harm you, is you feel immense kind of fear, you could say, from this person. Sometimes it might be fear as the person's strength, but also other times it's like an indicator of, oh, this person is projecting energy at me in a certain way. So the way that this is the first time I ever realized this, and this was before getting into the occult. I thought, like, I mean, before I realized, like, vampirism wasn't just like in the ritual space. It's like, no, there's people that have like bloodlines that either naturally have this already and are using it and maybe probably using it against you, or like that know that they're using it, or as well unconscious vampires. And that's what's even harder, because an unconscious vampire, it's like giving someone a sword, and then it's like if someone kind of understands they have a sword, they're like they're not as fidgety, right? If you hand someone that's never used a sword, they're just gonna fucking swing it, right? So I've faced really untamed vampires that will even like Yo, I've seen, like, I was, this one chick, right? This one chick was heavily working with Jin, right? And as she was working with Jin, it's like, I knew her girlfriend was working with Jin, but okay, so, oh my god, this was a long time ago. Oh my god, this guy, guys, so in a sense, I was dating this one chick. She was hella dragon energy. She was Thai. I gotta visit Thailand sometime. Like dragons be calling me. But as she was the dragon energy, she had a friend that was that was lesbian, and she was dating some other chick. So I had a three-way with my girlfriend and this other chick, right? And in a sense, her girlfriend and dude, she was down for it. She was down for it. Like in a sense, her girlfriend was the only one that was mad because she didn't get like no one invited her. I guess I don't know. She was mad. She keeps projecting all of this energy at me. She was even like yelling at me. She was saying I was gonna. She kept saying like I'm gonna come to your house. I'm gonna beat you up. And I was like, yo, I don't. I was just laughing though. I was just consuming. Like when I look back, I was consuming the energy. Like so, I was just laughing. But she was trying to invoke fear, right? She was trying to become a threat, but she wasn't a threat. I don't hit women. I never fight a woman. Even moments where I've had to actually throw hands, I don't even throw hands. I just like walk away and I'm just like, yo, can you like, it's like a paper bag hitting me. But it's like I'd rather not. But so it's in that moment where she had not more power, but it's like it's if I chose to be afraid of her, she's invoking fear into me. She's projecting that energy. She's using so much time, energy, attention, and awareness to get me to look at her and then feel what she is feeling, but I didn't have to. Devil's three-way, you know what I'm saying? Like, but no, but yeah. So, but that was in my earlier days, understanding now that, like, you know what I mean? She was just hurt, right? Things of that nature. I think before I act a little bit more. I try to only act if it's truly needed. But so you have to be in your power, you have to be grounded, and then you have to take. And in that situation, you're merely just justifying a you're just yeah, you're justifying a just variable, right? So you're using vampirism with a cause, so that will make it more powerful. I'm not saying that, oh, it's just therefore it's more powerful, this and that. No, like, dude, like, honestly, unjust things reign supreme all the time, and reality shows us this, right? So it's almost like that's why we have to take on these abilities. That's why we have to take on this knowing, so that we can equip ourselves with tools to, you know, alter our reality and take back our power and put us into our strength, right? So, but at the same time, if you're doing this without reason, without cause, without truly embracing the true will, the path, your purpose, your destiny, it's almost like, why are you doing this? There's no fucking point. Only gain this amount of energy, this mass amount of energy, if you're going to use it towards a purpose. Other than that, I mean, you might drive yourself fucking insane. I just want to say, right, there's a positive and a negative before you align as a source vampire, right? When you're more of just if say you're just a vampire, a chaotic vampiric entity, at some point source is going to try to source you, and if you don't align with the source alignment and become you know, I think even limiting yourself, not believing the archetype of a source vampire it's just it's limiting in nature, so you can choose to become that. Oh, thank you on the donation, Super G. Oh, bro, that's beautiful, dude. Anything, know that, you know, by just donating, like the fact that you threw out, I mean, feel free to ask a question, Super G. The fact that you just threw out, like, you know, I'm not really, I gotta stop saying I don't care about money. Guys, take it out of your vocabulary if you say you don't care about money. But I appreciate the monetary value that you've chosen to spend. Um, showing that you appreciate, showing that you just appreciate the wisdom. Feel free to ask a question though, Super G. You should learn how to consume. Oh yeah, but reprogramming. Let's get into that in a second. Yeah, you're right on that. Okay, so navigation, our navigation are videos. I love Google stock. Should I buy Google stock tomorrow? Let's look at the market. I don't really think it's ever wrong to invest in Google um or in what's it called, Tesla. Tesla is also a really good one. Google and Tesla is always kind of going up. I'd rather trade stocks. Like, did you wait? Are you trading? Are you like trading stocks, or are you just like what are you doing, man? Let me know what's up. Let me know what's up. And then let's get into Raquel says it's 3 a.m. Oh, okay, yeah, I completely feel you, fam. Yeah, I'm up. It's already 12:15. I'm probably gonna be on here for just a little bit more. Um, well, I'm gonna go fully through the whole journey, but yeah, let's keep going in there, cause that's even. I appreciate navigation RV, navigation VR videos. I appreciate that question because I am trying to test myself more on psychically detecting stocks. Because something that Belial or Beelzebub has gotten me into lately, like a lot more, is, I mean, especially like, let's go with. Okay. Okay, cool. Is it? Okay, let me know if it's coming in. Let me know if it's coming in clear for you guys. Okay, cool. Is it? But let's actually look at the market just for a second. I mean, it's at a low. It seems like it's going down. It's coming in. I wouldn't recommend picking it up till maybe tomorrow. Buying it at a low, again, I don't know if you're trading it. Buying it at a low, and the market is shifting. Yeah, we back. So it can only really go up. So if you are trading it, that's a completely different story. So yeah, let's talk about what Super G was talking about earlier. You should learn how to consume and reprogram parasites as vampires. We are parasites as I identify more with being a virus, an infection of no disease, simply your own energy. Yeah, right, because your own train of thought, you thinking differently, is like a virus within the game, is like a virus within the matrix. So yeah, that's completely right. And it's like we're all cells built, like you were saying, like as you said, we're like parasites, or I look at, like, I don't know, like parasites, you usually there's so many just like cells, and it's when you're choosing to step into the that cell and become your own cell, as you were saying, it's like you are the virus, you being the virus within the matrix, changing it all based off your own consciousness and train of thought. The more that people can, say, get on your wave or frequency, or get on the wave of ascension of source, then the more. And as I say that, I kept feeling shifts. Literally, I could see them. Oh my gosh, like occurring. But the more and more people start to express this vibration and frequency of knowing, and they start to step into their power, they start to step into themselves, this actually starts to awaken within the collect consciousness, where then that is then going to create more and more of a virus. I realized, like, if you guys know what being shelled is within the Cliffoth, there's this guy that worked this 9 to 5 job every day, and he'd be like kind of robotic in nature, and then I'd be like, oh, what's up, bro, like, what's up, peace, and then eventually it took like months, but one day he just threw he just did this. That's all. He's like, and I was like, that's my boy, and then I throw out the knuckles. He didn't even know what to do, and it was like funny, but it's like I saw myself like liberating like an NPC. Like the NPC was learning how to have a soul, right? So the more that you have a soul, the more that you heal within yourself, the more that you meditate, the more that you do ritual and nourish your own soul, and you provide that for other people, that's quantumly affecting the wave. That's quantumly affecting the field. So the more that you choose to embrace your own ascension, this allows others to ascend as well in the progress. So this is also why the self-serving path is so beneficial as well, because what's more powerful, someone that's always giving out their energy, or someone that takes in so much energy from their surroundings that they can then give back to it even more prosperously? It's like an emperor or an empire or a kingdom, right? The king takes a lot from the kingdom, but he's also funding it in delegation and making sure everything flows, right? Because if things aren't flowing, that's also when you can overthrow the king, right? Because the king's not doing his job, right? You know what I'm saying? And that just also goes into energy as well. We bet. And then Super G says, I am the poison of God, Samael. Samael has been a very heavy energy lately. Him being the devil, right? Or a devil. An archetype of the devil. And understanding that form of magic, right? I call it devilism. I don't believe I've coined that term, but I hope I did. but no, I call it devilism. Even the things that I'm talking about right now is devilism, right? It's understanding this nature of reality that only the 1% know, only the 2% know. If you guys realize, like, my channel, yeah, I have, I don't know, like 3K subscribers, I don't know, 2,700, whatever. Then, like, I don't know how many people tune into the lives. I really don't care, right? But it's my channel's not about the views or the likes or the subscribes, because I already know that this is 1% knowledge, right? That although this seems like to us, you guys, this is like basic or normal, or you know, you get in the know and you start to understand. But at the same time, most people aren't thinking of these concepts. Most people aren't thinking about these kind of things. So really, you are embracing the devilish nature of reality. Vampirism, to make money is a negatively polarizing thing. To be your own boss, to set your own time, all these things, because if you're not setting your own time, then someone else is doing it for you, so you're under them, so they're controlling your wage. But if you create your own form of income, your own job, then you're now liberated, right? You just created a whole new timeline for yourself because you started to understand how money was made. Money being numbers on a screen, right? So. Oh, that's what's up, Super G. Yeah, I love that deific evilism, evil stemming from the meaning to be over the norm, to go beyond regulation. Yeah, there's a lot of thought in the phrase of devilism, and you could probably go on Google and find that, right? But choosing to embrace the devilish path, which, I mean, is just another box or encapsulation of the Qliphoth, working with demons, demonolatry, the infernal path, working with the infernal divine, right? Like, just, I didn't derive that until after working with Samael, Azazel, and Shaitan, though. Kaizen, just popping in to show support. Salute. Oh, what's up, Kaizen? What's up, fam? Yo, always embrace Kaizen. What's up, guy? What's up, Kaizen? What's up, fam? How's your day been, man? Thank you for the support. That's what's up. Um, what is it? Eternal. Wait, no. Endless progression. Oh, continuous change. Continuous change. trying to see if it's... Okay, cool, it's back. Okay, cool. So, let's keep going. Let's continue. So collectively, a lot of people will be initiated into the abyss soon, and we can already kind of see this in just the way that humanity's going. I mean, that's just like, oh, duh, like that's just an obvious, right? With the way that like culture is and the way that with what it perpetuates, right? So, in a sense, anybody that understands the abyss or has already been walking it, um, you're to even be here and understand this information or this knowledge, you are a forerunner in the ascension, right? You're someone that actually understands that, oh wow, I can lose my sanity if I don't take my evolution serious, right? If you don't choose to do the right things, you're going to be clouded in your judgment. You're going to start to make a lot of decisions that are not beneficial for you. Your life is going to spiral. You're going to be at the bottom of the abyss being like, how the fuck do I get out this shit, right? Those are for the people that are not prepared, for the people that didn't understand it, right? In this search and this journey to gain power, you have to understand why you're trying to even gain power or why you're even walking this path, right? You have to go within and start to integrate with the inner child, with your future self, with just coming to terms with who you are as a being, what you are, right? It's all these things that start to shape you. So just as we learned, or just as I learned vampirism, I continue to walk my path, and even in, thank you Super G for saying Samael earlier, because that was the next sphere in a sense. It goes Nama, Lilith, Samael sphere, and that's the complete emptying of our consciousness, of the self that was before the magical self. I wouldn't be who I am now if I didn't initiate through that sphere, right? And it's in that same way that when we initiate through the Qliphoth, merely all we are is just path working ourselves back to source in order to unlock the source in which we already were, and we just forgot that we were. We forgot ourselves to be source. So if you wish to strip away the illusions at a very fast rate, while then also creating yourself and creating a new reality for yourself, determining a new destiny for yourself instead of the one that was placed on you, this is where you're creating the destiny that you desire now. But you have the knowledge and the gnosis from the Qliphoth, from the different deities that were always guiding you along the path and along the way. So the more that you can integrate this knowledge of the path and of the journey, that is the crossing. The more that you can maintain this level of awareness and this consciousness after the crossing of the abyss, or even before your crossing, the more beneficial your life becomes, the more beneficial your reality becomes. So, in a sense, after the Samael sphere and integrating with the tree, because that's what you're doing when you're walking the Qliphothic path, you're integrating with the tree system itself, reawakening it or re-emerging it within yourself based off your DNA. Okay, so biosphere, which I had a few friends go through at the same time, exactly during the Balenciaga fiasco, right? So we were we were in a sense seeing externally what was already portrayed within the inner realms of some initiates already walking the path, already scaling the tree. And this is the thing, it's the same with myself, that at certain points of the tree I started to notice variables that were outliers within the matrix, that these things were glitches that only I could see because I was the one being initiated. Specifically, Biosphere, yeah, and then as well in Thagirion, and then probably Thaumael. And Thaumael just felt like a completely different experience. That's all I have to say. In this moment, right? So the more that you integrate with the tree and you become it, right? Becoming it means to recall the tree and that you are it. So it's like self-actualization isn't taking on illusions of what you are not, rather liberating that which you are. Once you can liberate that which you are and already perceive yourself to be, that's what the Qliphoth is in a sense doing. It's destroying all of these things that were keeping you chained, right? So just as much as people see the chakras as a positive thing, the chakras are more locks, right? You praise the lock, endlessly searching for the keys. Let's say that again. You praise the lock, endlessly searching for the keys. So the more that you understand, the keys to the lock, you can unlock yourself and then start to create your destiny. Just like in anime, right? Dragon Ball Z, Goku has to get all 7 Dragon Balls in order to make a wish, and I think they even had to get all 7 Dragon Balls to resurrect him or something like that. The 7 Dragon's balls, no, but the 7 Dragon Balls is a symbolism of the Kundalini. It's a symbolism of the chakras and the Kundalini. Once you align all 7 chakras, wheels, you can then awaken the dragon or the serpentine force, what's known as the Kundalini, right? So the more that you can allow the Kundalini to flow through you freely, this is what allows you to alter the matrix. The Kundalini is what flows through everything in the all in each and every moment that is showing us the source in that thing. Kundalini flows through everything in the all. Give me a moment. Okay, so Kaizen said, what's up, Blair? Blair the Mystic Fox says, smiley face. I don't know what I is, but hi. What's up, fam? Blair shouted you out earlier, just letting you know. Proud of you, fam. Kaizen, I felt pretty much dead in Arab Zarok. Thagirion brought me back to life. LMAO Dragon Balls. That actually makes a lot of sense, Kaizen, because in Arab Zarok, you're being filled with them, you're learning a lot about magic, and in that exchange, you probably were walking around just throwing around spells, so you were probably not wasting, but expanding a lot of energy that was coming in. And that makes sense in Thagirion, were empowered with the black flame. So you were, I mean, in the Samael sphere, were being trained to understand how to take on the black flame. So that was probably the ignition of the black flame for yourself. Not meaning that you didn't already have it, but Thagirion being an awakening of that dormant. Well, if it be dormant for some, the dormant black flame, but also, if you're already a vampire walking the path, you probably had it there, but you had to wait until either it was kindled or you kindled it. That's why a lot of people kind of get stuck working with demons as well, is that they get stuck always, they need Belial to kindle their flame, but they can kindle their flame as well, right? Some people think it's disrespectful to not praise and worship the demons, but honestly, the demons don't fucking, they hate praise, they hate worship, they could fucking care less, honestly. And I mean, depending on some of them, there's some that are egotistical, but you becoming your greatest version, you becoming your own outlier, that is what matters most to the spirits that you work with, right? You becoming your greatest version. They're already there. Belial already has bitches, right? Belial already has, like, everything, right? He has a kingdom. What Belial wants from you, or what Belial wants for you, is for you to start your own kingdom, to create your own reality, whatever that may so be, and whatever spirit, you choose to work with or that you work with. It's more to go with to do with the magic number 7 in mind, moving forward in time and space, moving backward down to earth. Wow. Okay, let's combine the two things that Super G said, because it's very powerful. We should definitely be invoking, if anything, the planet Earth itself under no name, but the one you know it to be without its masks. What can Earth provide us with magically? Good question. Wait, did someone else ask that, or is that your question? But I understand how you ask that, yeah. What can Earth provide for us magically? We can go into that, and then we'll talk about what you just said a minute ago as well. He said, I'm working with planetary sorcery using the rawest, most primal form of these planets. Pluto and Jupiter as celestial bodies really gives insight, foresight, and expansive thinking. Yeah, if you wanted to push that to the next level, Super G, you could even add energies of Neptune, and then no. It could either be Neptune and Pluto, like both of them, or just the Neptune energies, and then you'd get a lot of I'm hearing Neptune and Pluto, but you'd get a lot more dream energies with the expansion, and then you just bring that into more of Earth energies. Jupiter can kind of be... I learned this from my friend Eli. He said Jupiter is kind of chaotic a little bit, like it can be unhinged. And I'm like, yeah, I could... And then he gave an example of Hermes. Hermes is like kind of Jupiterian, where he's very fast moving, but if you're someone that isn't as fast as him, this can cause imbalance within the user. So only specific users try to align with the energies that are most meant for you while also balancing your energies, right? So align with the planets most meant for you while balancing the planets that you're lacking, which is probably, what led you to do something like that as well. Not saying not to use Jupiter, but just throwing out that observation where Jupiter can be expansive for certain things in a way that might not be most beneficial, where maybe even more Saturn energies would be beneficial sometimes, right? And then Saturn into Earth, foundation. Use the Saturn sigil before embracing new endeavors, right? The Saturn sigil is really good for new endeavors. Just throwing that out there. Okay, let me know when it comes back up. Okay, cool. We're gonna actually just talk about it a little bit more, and then we're gonna get going. Cause I guess that I wasn't trying to do this to you guys, but I guess there's gonna be a part 3. So let's just continue up until the abyss, and then next stream will be fully dedicated to, the upper triad as well as Thaumael. I don't know when that's gonna be. That could be a week. That could be 2 days. That could be a random 2 a.m. morning. Whenever I feel, whenever it is meant, right? Okay, so Thagirion. From Thagirion, we would then enter into Asmodee's sphere, correct? We were actually going to talk about this a lot earlier, having to do with, I guess you could say, the masculine distortions that Asmodee provides, where when some people are going through these kind of spheres, they either take on aggression, whether it be physical aggression, emotional, or slash sexual aggression. You could also say they have a boost in like they just feel like more like sexual, whether it be a masculine or a feminine. I can't really speak for the feminine as much, but me being a masculine, I noticed the aggression was men around me. It's like they were going into the projections of what I subconsciously was attached to. Right? So the more that I chose to embrace Asmodee's fiery, passionate energy in different ways, whether it be it was sex, it was martial arts, it was there's a few different ways that I express this, where it even led to me getting into an altercation with a dude on the side of the freeway where he just wanted to fight, and it just so happened to be in Asmodee's sphere. So then from that, it's Astaroth, right? It's Astarte's sphere, and she's preparing you for the crossing of the abyss, right? So as you start to understand what the abyss is, this is going to be the sphere where things will just start to make sense, right? And then you're going to go back into, you're then going to, in a sense, go to Thagirion, right? Or back into Thagirion, where you're then going to go up into the crossing of the abyss. And it's in this crossing where you will be stripped away of everything no longer serving you. Now, this is something I've talked about heavily on my channel, but I also want to talk about pulling a Scarlet Woman out of the abyss, right? Because it's going to be at some point along your journey, whether you're crossing or at Thaumael, that you will encounter a woman that will be receptive to your path and these energies. So the more that I, started to understand this concept, I started to realize that it's not a set thing. That the Scarlet Woman energies can be multiple women, it can shift. It's not always just one set woman, but it might be one set woman, and then you might have multiple lovers, right? You might have multiple women that are just an aspect or helping you to understand different aspects of yourself. This is where I feel that a masculine is put into a role where, in a sense, he has to not succumb to his lust or his greed or his desire for, egoic wants of the physical body, but instead be willing to almost, in a sense, sacrifice his own soul to save a feminine and to raise her. But in that same exchange, he can also take on mass amounts, or in that same exchange of losing himself, he can also take on mass amounts of power from raising a woman out of hell. So one second. Oh wow. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna save the rest for next stream, cause I gotta get going, you guys. So I hope everyone that tuned in have a beautiful night. For anybody that that liked this, please do leave a like. It helps me out and stuff like that. You should like it. I think it really helped you out, really benefited you. If you value the video in any way, please feel free to subscribe, you guys. And anyone that watched this, I hope you guys have a beautiful night or day, wherever you're at. Just letting you guys know, I do offer one-on-one consultations if you guys need any help with conscious coaching, walking the Qliphothic tree, understanding the infernal divine, whether it be spell work, ritual, magic in any way. Check out my shop down below, you guys. I really like what Super G said as well, just to frame this as we're getting off the stream. Make sure not to forget that as a whole, you are both masculine and feminine, meaning this is your inner twin flame journey, rising of the Kundalini, Krishna, Naga, and Svetna, Naga, Adpate. So, most definitely the balance between the masculine and the feminine. And that's even, truly, yeah, exactly. That is the journey, and you will notice that women will reflect your own inner feminine and your own issues with the feminine that you need to understand within yourself. Just as if you are a feminine, there will be men that will project aspects of your own consciousness or psyche, such as the anima and the animus, right? It's these things that are projected into the reality around us because we haven't dealt with them ourselves. But once we go about that inner journey, as within, so without, we start to understand the external reality and how everything outside of us also pertains to that which is within. So, especially according to, who you lay with and as well your lovers. So choose your consorts wisely. I want to also say shout out to Water Alchemist because he had a video on consorts, and I found that to be a really helpful video for anybody that I think it's his video is called Love and Magic. For anybody that wanted to go check that out, because that was very beneficial along my journey with being an occult practitioner, and then also how does love fall into the mix when it comes to bringing other women into my life, being an occultist, doing magic, right, working with these spirits. So I just wanted to say that. So with that, you guys, I hope you have a beautiful night. Peace. I'm out.